Hey, my name is Jeremy Kroeker. This is Elle West. And on today's Motorcycle Therapy, we're going to give you a little update about our situation amidst this coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, I put my eyebrows up when you stopped talking.
Anyway, so stick around for that.
Oh, okay.
Just checking to see if you're listening, blah, blah, blah. Just checking to see if you're listening, man.
So yeah, the plan was for Elle and I to leave Canada in August of 2019 and ride our motorcycles all the way from Canada down to the southern tip of Ushuaia and then turn around and go all the way back.
And we got halfway. We went all the way down. We went through the States and Mexico and Central America. We took a boat around the Darien Gap. We got to Colombia. We met some people. We had some fantastic rides. We got all the way down through Argentina to Ushuaia. And we started making our way north to Buenos Aires. We stayed in Buenos Aires for about 3 weeks. We met some friends, we hung out for a while, and that's when we started hearing a lot more about this coronavirus.
Yeah, everything was going just fine until we got to Buenos Aires on the return journey from Ushuaia. We met a friend, like Elle said, and then we started hearing more and more about COVID-19.
But by the time we got to Buenos Aires, it started to be more of a concern in a lot of countries. And we started thinking about, maybe getting the subway every day and going to crowded places in a big city. And for me, tango dancing, I was going tango dancing sometimes every night, multiple nights in a row. And that's a very close stance. Like, that's about as close as you can get to someone else with your clothes still on.
And me, I'm already kind of a compulsive hand washer, so I was on board with the message to wash your hands a lot. And social distancing is easier for me, I would say, than it is for a tango dancer, for example. But anyway, we left Buenos Aires and entered Uruguay. We took a ferry, and as soon as we landed in Uruguay, things started getting more serious.
So we were starting to think, well, what do we do if we get stuck? What if we can't travel? We've heard of some people closing their borders to specific countries at that time. And at least one of the things about Uruguay that we thought was good was that we can leave our motorcycles here for up to a year.
Yeah, and as far as I was concerned, I wasn't even really thinking about that. I just thought that we would move into Uruguay and there would be some restrictions, but we would still manage to travel around the country and whatnot. And then we started to have problems checking into hotels. So we just arrived in Colonia. We spent 3 nights at a hostel, but we left that hostel and then they basically closed the doors behind us.
And we didn't realize at the time, but I think they were doing that because of the coronavirus. They were told, I believe, by their government that they were not to take any new travelers.
So our initial plan was to grab a campground and then kind of wait it out there, but I started getting more and more nervous about that idea. And it's a good thing I did. We booked instead a Airbnb. Yeah.
So Jeremy wanted to rent this Airbnb for a month. And I was like, what? No way. No way. We won't need that much time. No way. Everybody else is saying maybe a couple of weeks. Why would we pay for something we might not stay for the whole length of? That seems silly. But Jeremy pushed. We talked about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and eventually decided on a whole month.
Well, we were getting a better price if we booked it by the month, and I thought I could see where this thing was going. I didn't anticipate how much of a lockdown and how long the lockdown would be. So our Prime Minister put an impassioned plea out there for Canadian citizens to return home.
But at that time, I was still thinking, if we do get stuck somewhere, we're stuck, and we're stuck for a couple weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah.
We can ride that out. We just have to find somewhere to be for that time that's safe and secure. I don't have a home back in Canada. When I left, knew I was going to be gone for at least a year, maybe a year and a half. Where would I stay? I'd be homeless and unemployed. May as well just stay here for a while.
And that's not suggesting that we were trying to avoid going home because it was inconvenient, because I know that everybody globally is dealing with massive amounts of inconvenience and loss of jobs and stuff like that.
So and worry about money and worry about family and worry about health.
For me, it wasn't so much as it was inconvenient. It was a matter of safety. So I thought the safest thing for us to do, rather than going into Montevideo, a big city, and arranging someplace to store our motorcycles, and then going to a crowded airport, and then going to another airport, and then spending time on planes and things like this, the safest thing for me and for those that I cared about would be to just start self-isolating.
So we agreed to stay put. We hunkered down. We got a pretty good Airbnb, which has a little 1-bedroom space, but some outdoor patio space as well.
And every now and then we use that sunny patio that Elle was mentioning to do a little bit of exercise. This is Elle's routine. And this is my routine. Good job, Elle. Actually, sometimes I do get out off the hammock and I do a little exercise too. Some curls, I just take a couple of dry bags. I've got about 100 pounds of rocks in each one. These bags are actually stuffed with cockroaches. Heck yeah! 1001. You can stop whenever you get a good burn. For me, that hardly ever happens anymore. I'm so ripped. Anyway, back to the situation.
The weather's starting to get colder here, which is really weird. We've been chasing the summer. That's the whole plan on this whole motorcycle trip, was to miss a Canadian winter and do our travels. So to be stuck in the southern hemisphere as fall is approaching and the weather is starting to get cooler is weird.
I like it. Anyway, we used to go for daily walks down to the beach to watch the sunset.
Which is beautiful.
And we could do that safely without coming into contact with any other people, without, endangering ourselves or others. But lately we've stopped doing that because they put caution tape around everything.
And some blockades on the pathways to
It's
the
a
beach.
holiday weekend right now for Easter, so they're trying to really discourage people from gathering, and which I understand. So now we're mostly staying inside our little apartment. Here's just a few seconds of me running you through our space. So that's our situation here in Uruguay. We're kind of in self-imposed lockdown. We are wondering if and when we can return back to Canada, but I'm beginning to wonder how that is going to happen to get our motorcycles back as well, because I anticipate a lot of borders will be closed for a long time and transportation will not be available widely for a long time, and that's something that I probably underestimated.
And we just booked another month at our Airbnb.
That's right.
So we've confirmed that we've got a place to stay.
Yeah, I even ordered a guitar online. That's been dramatic as well. I think I may have lost my money, but Elle is very optimistic that it will arrive. So that's it for those of you that were asking, and there were some of you asking on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We are in self-imposed lockdown. We're just taking a bit of a precautionary step ourselves, and we're looking forward to coming back to Canada. At least I am. I'm just not sure exactly when that will be and how that will happen. It seems unlikely that we will be able to ride home.
But maybe.
Elle is the optimist. She believes my guitar is coming too.
Yeah,
I lost that money and it's not coming.
No, we'll be okay.
So that's it for this little motorcycle therapy film. I've been doing a little bit of video editing, as you may know, so I'm putting together some short films about our travels here and there. I've got nothing else to do. If you want, check those out. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you want to support me, check out my first book, Motorcycle Therapy. It's a book, it's an ebook, it's even an audiobook.